When he eats soup or ramen, you know, like there's broth left over afterwards, and then like he's eating all the noodles.
Yeah.
He takes unflavored Cheerios and dumps it in the broth.
It's like
What?
it's like a crouton, bro. Comes from. I'll tell you where it comes from. It's from.
Crouton.
It is.
What?
You wanna know? You wanna know something? If you see Aaron after practice, he's not wearing drawers because he takes off his sweaty underwear and puts his pants back on and doesn't wear drawers for the rest of the day. Tell me about Aaron. If we're calling people out for not wearing drawers, then it's not just me.
And I brought it up viciously in front of other people.
It was a rap. It was a banana.
Y'all trolling. Y'all trolling.
No.
This is way more PG than what we just
It's all being cut.
Hold on. Whoa. What?
We gotta go to like, we gotta get some advice or something for the kids listening to this. Because right now they're not learning anything.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Ship Across the Border. My name's Max. I'm here with Chris. And before we get into the episode, just make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Follow us on Instagram at SATB_pod and TikTok, YouTube at Ship Across the Border. But today we have on a special guest, our assistant coach, whole new coaching staff this year.
Like this mic.
You fuck with it?
Yeah, like the mic.
All right. So, whole new coaching staff this year. This is Coach Rice, previously coached at University of Plattsburgh, previous player for our head coach, Coach Pish, at MCLA.
What?
Yeah, you know that.
I did not know that.
Very, very knowledgeable about the game. Great guy. He's going to give you some knowledge today. Get a little good conversation going.
Appreciate that. What an intro.
Welcome to the
How
podcast.
old are you? How old are you?
I'm 30 now.
And you played under Coach Pish, who is
Yes.
currently 36, he said?
35, 36, yeah.
35. That's a
I
weird
think it was when
dynamic.
Coach Pish went back to MCLA. He was like a
he was.
student assistant or something like that.
He was-
Very,
It was my junior year, so he was assistant.
yeah. So very early in his
Yeah,
career.
we had a couple of coaching changes, so it was interesting.
Talk about your college career a little bit. Let's get into that first.
Yeah, so I went to MCLA.
Which is on our schedule. We play them.
Yeah, we do. So we got to beat them. I know a couple of guys are still over there, actually. So, and in my senior year, Coach Shell, he's still there with the program. Other than that, yeah, MCLA was cool. Small school, probably a little bigger than Elms. Had a good time. Went there 2013, 2014. That was my first year. Couldn't play because I had I couldn't get my chicken pox shot.
Okay.
At least the file, whatever. So I had technically red shirt, quote unquote. Other than that, played the next year. Coach Pish actually came my junior year because our head coach stepped down. So our assistant coach moved up, and then Coach Pish came as the assistant coach, and it was good.
That's funny because I almost couldn't play at Medaille because I didn't have 4 out of the 5 shots that I needed.
Yeah.
But the school just didn't really care. Just kind of let it slide.
Another reason why the school shut down.
Probably. They were just so
There was a
lax.
lot of,
they
lax
Didn't, they
under-
didn't care at all. And then I came here, and in the span of, there's so much crazy shit that involved me getting here, but the week before I came here, I got 4 different vaccines. So, on the way here, I was supposed to get my last chickenpox vaccine. I didn't know you had to do it a week apart for it to be effective. So I drove down here, my car broke down, and while I was stuck in this buttfuck town in the middle of nowhere, I got 2 vaccines back to back, which I guess I didn't know wasn't ideal for your body. You're just not supposed to do
Going
that.
through it.
And
Yeah,
so
it was
I'm
rough.
stuck
It was
in the
rough.
middle of the town, living off of Wendy's and Burger King, and I have 2 vaccines just floating through my body. That was a rough week and a half, but
Damn.
yeah, that was the start of
God
my
bless
Elms
you.
career. But yeah, that is funny.
There was a lot of stuff at Medaille that was when we made the transfer over to here. It was
why do they have so many rules? Why do they do stuff?
no, there was something really specific that was it was Susanna from admissions, and she was like, "You guys didn't have this at Medaille."
Signing the your student visa thing so you could go back
Oh
and
yeah,
forth.
we never had our student visa signed as international students.
Whoa,
no,
what?
I got in trouble for that multiple times too at the border because you get there and they're asking you where do you go to school, all this stuff, and there's this procedure you're supposed to go through where they sign it so you can travel, and that shit didn't happen once. I got to the border one time and they were like, "Did they sign it? How do I even know you go to this fucking
right.
school? What's going on?" I was
signed
like,
it?
they didn't tell me anything.
What?
yeah, there was a lot of weird shit going on. To be honest with you, it was extremely
So
lax.
you're from Canada too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part?
I'm really small town in Ontario.
Ontario.
So I'm 2.5 hours away from him in Toronto.
Okay. What's the name of the town?
Ayton, Ontario. Yeah. Yeah, there's no way you would have heard of it.
I
It's
wouldn't.
not a
It's
six.
I was just curious.
Chris lives on a farm. His
Yeah,
parents
like actual
raise.
farm?
Yeah, his
They
parents
got chickens
raise
and all
cattle,
that?
chickens.
We got cows, pigs. We used to have chickens, but it just kind of got hectic, and it's not worth the money. You don't make any money from chickens. You just eat them yourself. So, well, at least we do.
Damn.
Yeah.
You kill the cows
these are
too?
real
You
fun,
kill all of
though.
them?
Yeah. Well, not all of them. So what you do is you have we have multiple farms. So we have 200 head, which is 200 cattle at my house, and and we have probably 150 head of pigs, and then at the other farm,
150?
yeah. So
Chris's parents are like their family businesses. They run the farm.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
they
probably at the other
raise
farm-
they raise the meat to bring to the slaughterhouse for like.
What?
Yeah.
You got 150 cows?
at home, and then the other farm, we probably have another
The other farm.
probably like 120.
Like to
and
pay
then-
his tuition, his parents sold a cow.
not a singular, multiple, but like
How
yeah,
much is a cow worth?
depends on the size and all that stuff, but anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000.
3,000 to 5,000.
Yeah. Expensive. But yeah, like I grew up on living off of my own meat. Like we don't buy any meat from the grocery store.
Of course
You
not.
just kill a cow and then that feeds you
Do
for
y'all
a
like
year.
name them? Do y'all like get attached to
It's
them a little
way
bit?
too many.
It's too many, right? Yeah, that's
A25, A26,
Yeah,
A27.
People like don't even realize that about Chris. Like Chris's parents don't have phones.
Nah, for real?
Like his
What they use?
Email.
What? So if you want to talk to your mom or dad,
I email them. I mean,
I'm
I
sorry,
probably-
I don't mean to be disrespectful.
No, no, no,
this
it's
is
funny.
the amount of times like we've had this. I've
Yeah.
been a part of this conversation. It's so non.
So if you want
like,
to talk to your mom right now, you gotta send her an email.
Well, I could call the house phone, but it's usually just
House phone.
Yeah. Like
he's
the
a Mormon.
landline.
He's basically a Mormon.
Yeah, definitely. A landline is
Yeah.
crazy.
Like my childhood was so crazy. Like the gap between my childhood and his childhood is so insane. Like the disconnect in terms of like how we grew up is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I'll explain to him something that I did as a childhood, and I'm like, I think this is so normal. And he's like, yo, what?
Yeah, right, say,
Like I grew up like killing fucking sheep and shit and like all this stuff, and he's just like, huh?
Did you personally kill them?
No, well, I mean, I worked at a chicken farm. This is gonna get super graphic, but one of the jobs that I had
This is last summer, right?
year, I quit this job as soon as I figured this out. But I worked at a chicken farm, and one of the main jobs is that lead hand was that we would walk through the pens and you find any injured chickens, and if they're injured, if they have like a limp or if they're sickly, you have to pick them up and just break their neck.
Hold on, whoa, what? That was your job title?
Well, it was one
Chicken
of,
neck
one of the
snapping.
things.
One of
Another-
the things.
One of the things. So that would be like my mornings would start at 6 in the morning. I would
So you
wake
see a
up
ch-
and just snap a couple of chickens' necks. Probably like two
See
or
a
two or
chicken
three.
just limping and you had to just go just.
And so
Nah.
like,
Put it out of
and
misery.
so I lasted
Crazy.
I lasted about a month at that job. And so you'd break their necks, and then the next thing you'd have to do is this is so fucked. You throw them in these bins, right? And then you take the bins and you put them in this little shed or whatever. One of the jobs at the end of the day was you had to go to these bins, these chickens that have been rotting for like a week in the heat in the middle of summer, and bring them outside and then dump them in another bin. The smell was horrific. And then you'd go, and there's people who would collect eggs. There's egg collectors. So like they would collect the eggs, and then all the bad ones they would throw in a bucket. And those ones that got smashed in the bucket, you dump those also in. So you have a dead, rotting chicken carcass covered in dead, rotting eggs in the same basket in the heat. And yeah, it's just disgusting.
You know, we're gonna pause the podcast because we want to get it sponsored by PETA.
No, that's actually how you're supposed to do it. too.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a horrific job. I've had some really bad
You,
jobs.
I don't like killing
you're acting like
spiders.
you worked there for a little bit though. You didn't just figure that was what you had to do and
Yeah.
quit.
No, like I knew that's what happened.
You got paid
And
well-
I was like,
you got
yo,
paid
I'm
really
getting
well,
paid
though.
$30 an hour. Like I'm gonna try and stick it out. But
I feel bad killing
It
spiders
was
and you're just
rough.
slaughtering chickens.
oh yeah, I grew
It's
up
just different
kinda
cul- yeah, it's
doing
just-
that.
Yeah, that's fire though. That's dope.
Fire. But yeah, back to like the actual meat and potatoes of this.
Yeah, how do we even
podcast.
get into that?
I don't know, but how did you start coaching? So you went to MCLA, had a
Yeah.
pretty decent career, enjoyed your time there. How do you end up transitioning into coaching?
It's actually a crazy story. So, one of Coach Pish's his boys, Colin Allard. So he actually gave me my first like quote unquote coaching gig. I was coaching 3rd and 4th grade, and I just loved it ever since. And then it was travel ball, so it was traveling a little bit. And those players are like, they're actually in like 10th grade right now, so it's kind of like crazy how old they got. But yeah, fell in love with it. Moved back home to Springfield. Started working at Duggan Academy. Then after that, the head coach asked me if I can help out coach. I said yeah. Started helping out. Next year he stepped down. I stepped up as the head coach. And then we took over the program. It was up from there.
Was there something about coaching 3rd and 4th graders that you didn't feel like you could pursue full time? Because I know I have a coach back home that he does the full range. He goes from 3rd, 4th grade all the way up to like college kids like me. Could you have seen yourself coaching 3rd and 4th graders for a long period of time?
Probably right now, no. But at that time, I just enjoyed it. I think I'm kind of like I like the advanced level a little bit more because like can teach a little bit more, have a little bit less patience. I would
Sure.
say for 3rd and 4th grade, it's a lot of patience. Yeah, a lot of patience, a lot of going through fundamentals, doing your vitamin stuff you do every day and stuff like that. But it was good. Like it's good energy. Get to travel and stuff like that. So it was dope. I coach 9th grade now, 9th and 10th grade for expressions, but we're about to move to BABC, so that's gonna be a fun journey.
That's in the summer.
Yeah, in the spring.
That's high level basketball too. That's
Yeah.
like I don't know what circuit it is, but
Adidas circuit.
yeah,
Yeah,
shoe
I know, it's
circuit. Shoe circuit.
I don't mean to say it, but it's disgusting. I was so used to Nike,
Yeah.
but like now we're going to
So
Adidas.
expressions is EYBL,
Yeah.
and then BABC is
Adidas.
Yes. Okay. That's so.
It's definitely a lot easier to, I don't know, a lot easier, but it's a lot easier to get like the respect of those younger kids because, like, I mean, you just naturally, obviously, you can make a layup. Like,
Yeah.
you get that
They look up to you like you're their
respect.
hero.
Huh?
They look up to you like you're their hero. Like,
versus
I
like
know.
if you don't know what you're talking about in terms of a basketball stance and you come into like a 12th grade gym, it's definitely a lot harder to gain that respect piece. Yeah.
Yeah, but some of these kids are really talented though, especially for the
sure.
the ninth, 10th grade we had. They were very talented.
in the
Yeah, a couple kids.
my fault. Cut you
No.
off. In the 3rd and 4th grade team you were coaching, was it like a team where you had to like try out for, like the kids that try out for, or was it like kind of like a
Honestly, yeah.
type of thing?
No, I remember. I don't think we did cuts. It was kind of like they signed up and just.
Because I feel like at that age, something that's challenging. Because I worked as not last summer, not like this past summer, but in many summers previously as like a basketball coach for youth kids, definitely in that age, a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger. I feel like one of the biggest challenges is like having kids that just don't want to be there, and it's their parents that are making them be there, and it's like how like it was so frustrating to me. Like I don't know if I could necessarily be a coach or that's really what I want to do, but I do enjoy the teaching, the information that's helped me be successful in basketball, or the things that I know to a younger person, like giving them like those lessons. But it's so, and I find that piece rewarding, but it's so difficult when like the kids don't even want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's the thing with like, as you said, like more patience, what was that, but also like there, you can have less patience because like we're at a college basketball, like you have to like be a certain level, and so you can have that less patience and that more real conversations and stuff like that because everybody wants to be here, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there a point in your career where you decided if you were going to maybe go play pro versus the coaching route or continue your playing career?
Ooh, play pro.
How did did you have a successful college basketball career?
I enjoyed my time. I wouldn't say I was like the best. Had a couple of injuries, a couple of knee injuries. Being a smaller guard kind of tough too. But other than that, I enjoyed my college career. When I got on the floor, I was kind of like the defensive guy. Go sick him, go guard him 94 feet.
It's like a Farai.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
But there was no option. Like you didn't think at any point, like maybe I can go play pro or take
Nah.
this?
Nah.
Okay.
At that point, there was like some tryouts. A couple of my friends played overseas. Like this like little tryout thing in Spain. I could have went.
Oh yeah, we heard about the tryout in Spain.
Yeah.
I did not hear what the tryout
Like
in Spain.
Ian's tryout in Spain?
Ian's tryout in Spain, not his tryout in Spain.
I'm saying the tryout in Spain.
But we have an old teammate who, I mean, he's gonna go try out in Spain. He might actually do really well, but this was the type of guy who, like, he was so scatterbrained. Like he, at one point during the second semester, looked at all of us and said, "You know what I'm gonna try and do? I'm gonna try and like become good at soccer. I'm just gonna try and make the Elms college soccer team." And that lasted about a week. Then next week he was writing screenplays, and then next week he wanted to learn piano, and then the next week he wanted to only play with his left hand in practice because he thought he was that good. Like, it was just so scatterbrained. So when he says something like, "I'm gonna go try out in Spain," it automatically comes across as like, this might last a week. This might be a real thing. I don't know anymore. I don't know
Shout out
anymore.
Ian, man.
Yeah, shout out Ian, but he was just so scatterbrained. So that's what we mean when we say like try out in Spain.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like I was good enough to go overseas though.
So, what made you choose to be a full-time coach then? Because was there other options for jobs at that point that you were trying to pursue?
Honestly, I teach math right now. Which is a crazy story. They just like asked me to teach, and I was like, all right. And I started teaching the next day.
You didn't have any qualifications?
No.
What grade is this?
This is like middle school math.
Is that a challenging thing to go from no qualifications just
Well, you don't.
out here chilling?
It's a private school, I think, right?
Nah, not a private school, public.
You can. I know because I went to school in Ohio, in high school in Ohio, and you don't have to have a teacher's degree to teach at a private school. But I thought you do it. Maybe there you have to in a public school.
Yeah, you
Might
just
be
get your
different
emergency license. That's it. That's what I've been on.
Really, and then you can just so you came. So you were at Plattsburgh last year.
Yep.
We'll get into that, and then you come back. Were you coming back here for the Elms job before, or you were already back here? And then
I was already coming back.
You're already coming back.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, and then you were working at the school first.
Yep.
And then got the opportunity. So did you like want to? Was like I want to be a teacher, and then you went out and seeked that, or how did you get connected with that school that you're working at now?
Oh, so I was working admissions for colleges.
Okay.
So I was working at Southern Vermont College before they closed down, and then they closed down, moved back home, and then I was working as a college advisor, I would say. So I was like teaching 9th through 12th college and career readiness, like easy class. And then I don't know what happened with the math teacher there, but I don't know if she quit, fired, whatever. And then the principal came up to me. He was like, "Hey, we need a math teacher. Do you want to teach math?" I was like, "Sure." The next day I started teaching. That was it. That's literally what happened.
That's
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
Is that weird to go from that, like being an admissions teacher to like just straight into a math class?
It was a little different, but I like math, so it was like
Sure.
I despise math with a passion right now. I
was-
might
and
flunk
then-
out of elemental statistics. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is a
Yeah.
problem. I hate math so much.
and then the crazy thing, the world shut down. It was COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we had to start teaching online, which was interesting. But other than that, it was pretty much chill. Little Zoom class, and to be honest, we had a couple kids that would like play Call of Duty, and then just one kid named Jovan. Shout out to Jovan. He's like one of my golden childs. Can't do no wrong. And I just see his like little eyes just up like this. You know what I mean? Like just you know he's on the game. And I was looking at him like, yo, Jovan, you playing Call of Duty? He's like, yeah, I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm sorry. I'm like, all right, what's your gamer tag? We'll start playing. Then we started playing. We started playing.
1 kill plus 2 kill equals a nuke.
So you were teaching math in the 9th and 12th grade. So you had experience of teaching math before you're now teaching math in your school right now.
No experience. So I was teaching 9th and 12th grade college and career readiness. So
Oh, and then this school is the one that told you want to teach math.
no, so Duggan's the same school. It's the same school. It's the 6th through 12th at Duggan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the middle school math teacher, I don't know what happened to her. I don't know.
Oh, so you're still at the same school now?
Yeah, I was still at the same school.
Oh, okay.
No. So that was at Duggan.
Yeah.
And then I went to Plattsburgh, came back, and I'm started working at Bellamy and Chicopee.
But so now, going to this new job this year, you already had that math teaching
Yeah.
experience from your previous
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Okay, so it's not like this year you're
Yeah,
just
I worked
coming
at
back.
like 2 different schools.
Okay. So now talk a little bit. So you went to Plattsburgh. So that's another D3 in the SUNY.
Yeah.
So they play. We went to Medaille University for our freshman
Yep.
year in New York State as well. So we probably played.
So our
a
head
bunch of-
coach coached at Medaille and won the championship there.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure.
the head coach of Plattsburgh was the coach before Hack.
What's his name?
Has Michael Blaine.
Michael Blaine. That was
Yeah.
the robot that Rari used to talk about.
Yeah.
He came in. I think Rari. He was a senior when we got there, and he came in as a freshman when Blaine was still there. But I think he left the first semester that Rari got there. He talked about it on his podcast. This is like ages ago.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
And he was like, he said he was super like robotic, and he was like really technical, and he wasn't super personable and stuff.
He's not. Yeah, but not. Yes,
Memory.
he is. But yeah, you hit it right on the nose. That's how it was.
That's funny. That's a weird
Yeah,
connection.
little
Full
red-
loop.
Yeah. So then, how'd you get kind of to Plattsburgh? What was your experience there?
So another MCLA connection. Coach Skiff. So remember I told him like my freshman and sophomore year we had a head coach. I'm forgetting his name.
This is MCLA.
Yeah,
When you were a
MCLA.
player.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so junior year we had a new head coach, which was Coach Skiffington, and then that's when Coach Pish came. And Coach Skiffington is the assistant at Plattsburgh State.
Okay.
So when I was asking, for looking for jobs, he ended up reaching out, say, hey, Plattsburgh looking for assistant. Like, will you be interested? And I was like, yeah. And then kind of just went up there from there.
That's dope. And then you didn't want to go back there this year, like for this coming
Yeah,
season?
it was a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, like the assistant coach position doesn't really pay as well, and I had like a lot of financial troubles. So it's like my car was breaking down. I had to pay like $4,000-$5,000 for like a new engine or a harness for my engine. It's like just little stuff, and then plus my car wasn't paid off, so I was still paying my car note. I'm only getting $12,000 a year, so it's kind of tough to manage.
Definitely.
So, and then my dad had some like health problems, so I ended up moving back home.
For sure. And then now, not only are you able to be with your family, you're also now full time at the school, which I'm sure is definitely more lucrative than being a assistant coach. But then also you get to still have that basketball experience here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how did you kind of get? I'm sure when Coach Bish got the job, he hit you up. But talk a little bit about how you ended up as our assistant coach now.
Yeah, so it's actually crazy because Coach O also was my coach at MCLA.
Shout out Coach O.
Yeah, Coach Norris. Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. He was my coach senior year when Coach Pitch left. So I was always kind of, I wouldn't say trying to get to Elms, but I was always like kind of.
This is where you're gonna end up. This is where
I was reaching out for a lot of schools. 'Cause I know Coach Tab at Western New England, Coach Mike at Springfield College, who I was supposed to work with before I moved to Plattsburgh.
That's super
And
interesting.
just a couple schools like kind of nearby.
Shout out Coach O.
Yeah.
Coach O is like a very grown up version of Steph.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Coach O.
We're never going to have him on the pod.
Steph?
Coach O.
We gotta have Steph on the
gotta
pod.
get
We need to get Steph on the pod too.
Gotta get him on the pod.
Coach O was just he has a family, right? And he also was working at a school, and
Got
so
a nice
he
little
was
son.
he wasn't he wasn't around as much. So we didn't really get to, me personally didn't really get to know him as much, just because he wouldn't come to away games because he was working and wouldn't have work for his work schedule. And then also he was coming to like a couple practices a week. But great guy. That's actually really, really interesting.
Yeah. That's my guy.
It sounds like connections seem to be a
I was going to say that.
centerpiece of like how you manage to maneuver your way through the basketball world and life. So how does one start to build those connections? Because like we're 20, we're going to be in the workforce soon. How would you tell us to go about making these connections with people and start building those?
I think my biggest thing is like don't burn no bridges. Like just be yourself. Like obviously like right here, this is a connection right here, right? So like both of you guys. Obviously like a couple years down the line, if you hit me up, anything I could do, you know. So let's say you're looking for a coaching job and pray to God I have a head coaching job at that time, you know. Just like I know it from this long, you know what I mean? Like obviously like give you the opportunity. So it's just like so little things like that, and hopefully it's like stuff just works out. But yeah, just be yourself. Obviously, like I said, just don't burn no bridges. Try to stay in contact. I know it's hard to like stay in contact with everybody, but you know, really just be yourself, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Because I know like we've interviewed a lot of people at this point, like our old head coaches and everything, and I don't know how regularly you talk to them, but I haven't reached out to Coach Hack, Coach Long, any of them in a really long time.
Coach Hack actually in our Madai group chat, which
recently
yesterday sent a video of because our Coach Hack from Madai is now coaching at FDU Florham, which is a D3, like the D3 for Fairleigh Dickinson. And obviously, you know how Coach Hack practice goes. They did circle transition.
Sure.
And he sends this recording to our group chat because we had an incident of my freshman year, like probably my first week, because I was out with injury for like a majority of like the whole preseason and practices. I came back like 2 days before our first scrimmage, so like maybe it was like a week or two, like, and I was also a freshman, and we're doing this, you know, circle transition for like we go white green, or for there was white blue, circle up, white, and then blue get on defense, white will bring out the ball, run, whatever, and it'd be like 5-on-5, and those practices, you know how we'll do like 3 teams, so everyone's switching jerseys and stuff. So I was originally on white, then I was on blue, then I was on white, back to blue, whatever.
You're doing a really good job of prefacing whatever you're about to say.
This is exactly what happened.
I know, but you're really building up your defense here.
I was on white team, but I was on white team, or I was on blue team, wearing blue jersey, but I was just on white. So when we said white, I was on offense, and I was like spotting up wide open on offense, but I was supposed to be on defense. Mm-hmm. Because I was just mad confused and whatever.
So you're just trying to play offense on defense?
Yeah, pretty much.
He's on defense. He's supposed to be guarding someone. He's spotting like this. He's like Joe.
Pretty much,
his old roommate dribbled the ball, and he's like, the whole play stopped. Coach blew the whistle, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And everyone just stopped. And he looked down. He started like, and it was so sad.
Because I was mad confused. Whatever.
I see why you say like he set it up.
Yeah. But now he sent a video, and there was, one person dribbling up the ball, and 2 people were guarding him. Both of them were on his team in their Fairleigh Dickinson practice. It was like, I'll show you the video after. It was like one guy dribbling up the ball, and then 2 guys guarding him. All 3 of those guys were on the same team. I'm sure he had a fucking aneurysm. But he sent a video to the group chat. That video to the group chat, and he was like, "We just had 2 kids pull a Max Rolick in circle transition today," and then that started off the conversation that we were talking yesterday. But
it's so funny. I love that.
How often were you like? So obviously, Coach Pish was in different positions, and your other coaches were in different positions that maybe you were looking to get to in the future. Were you keeping in touch with them relatively frequently in order to maybe keep that bridge alive until it was your time to cross it?
Yeah.
Your time to use it?
When I started working at Plattsburgh, I actually reached out to Coach Pish. I know he was an assistant for 7-8 years at that time. Mm-hmm. Coached at D1 level, so kind of got his like advice on what I should do. He gave me advice. I used it, and then he ended up getting this job. He reached out.
100%.
Yeah. So we kind of like been in contact. I wouldn't say we were talking like every week, every 2 weeks or whatever. But I reached out. He responded. Kind of just did what we had to do.
Are there certain tricks in the trade you've picked up from looking at like a bunch of good coaches you've been around, especially because you're in an assistant position, you want to get into a point where you're a head coach? I had a little mini coaching spurt when I was back in Canada for the summer. It was like a 1-day gig thing where like I was supposed to coach some kids who some of them were Division I talent and stuff. It was sort of my old coach threw me in the fire just to see if I like really wanted to coach. I don't really want to coach anymore after that. But like I noticed how unorthodox it felt for me to sort of stand up there and give like a speech to the whole group and try and manage all of this stuff happening on the court at once. So is there certain things you've picked up that you try to do when you're on the court as a coach?
That's a great question. Honestly, like, don't reinvent the wheel, really. I feel like great coaches just steal, and that's what I do. I just steal whatever I feel like is I like, I just steal. So right now, I stole a lot from Plattsburgh. I come to Elms. I'm like, hey, I learned this to Coach Bish. Coach Bish obviously do the same thing for his coaches, and we kind of like just put it all together. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, like, managing personalities, I think that's like the biggest challenge, I would say. With like, what, we got 16 players?
Yeah.
17 coming with Addy comes back. But managing personalities and knowing how to coach certain players.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like, you can't yell at everybody. Like, for Max, I feel like you can kind of just tell Max where he needs to go, and that's it. Sometimes you probably got to draw it out for people. Sometimes you probably got to, like, all right, different ways to teach the game of basketball. But I think that's the biggest thing.
The other thing I noticed, too, when I was doing that little coaching gig was you can almost overcoach and sort of mess up mess with the flow of the offense. So it's like you're trying to tell someone to be here and do all this stuff, but then it also ruins their ability to sort of let their instincts kick in.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that with certain players you coach?
Absolutely. Especially AAU. Oh my gosh, you overcoach, and it's a shit show when they go out there. You're drawing on the board, and the kids be looking and just like, I don't know, it's just they don't pay attention, and then kind of just gotta like I said, different players, different styles. So you kind of like, once you understand that, I think that's the biggest key. You should be good from there.
I think something that the coaching staff, you, Coach Pish, obviously Coach Morrell when he's here, obviously Coach Steph when he's being involved and stuff like that, is doing really well is like layering things slowly. So like in tryouts, we did the rub and noi shooting, and then when you do don't even bring 5 people on the court. It's just like the 3 people, and then 4 people, and then 5 people, and then we just do rub. And it's just slowly progress, and that kind of helps. The overcoaching is not introducing so much stuff at kind of one time, and helping like get this down before you go level 2 before you go level 3, and really make sure. And that really helps bridge the gap. Because honestly, there were times last year where we would mess up plays at the end of the year from things we were doing at the beginning. Yeah. Like, if you would have asked me last year if we had a high IQ group, I would have said absolutely fucking not. But this year, the way it's being taught to us, I feel like, at least me, but I can see like the rest of my teammates are a lot more confident at this point in what we're doing than even what we were doing previously. Like, I do see a world where everybody's on the same page and we're flowing through this offense later in the year, as obviously we were only like 16 practice or whatever, 15 practices in total right now, including the preseason and everything. But I definitely see like the way it's being taught to us is definitely being effective in like helping everyone kind of bridge that gap.
It happened in Badai too, where like we had some people who were sort of stragglers, yours included, where like my inability to learn the plays was actually making it harder for the rest of the team to learn the plays, because like you're only as strong as your weakest link. So like I'd be on the floor, and if I'm the point guard for the 12th like man C team,
and you can't enter the ball,
I can't run the play. Now they're not getting the reps on defense to try and guard it, and now they also can't be in the right position because I mess it up. And it's like that weakest link thing. I noticed that at Madai. It happened a lot. I don't know if that's happening on this team. I hope not. But
Coach brought up yesterday, he's like, there were some moments where he's like, he was frustrated, people weren't doing the right things, and which super rightfully so. And he was like, I'm gonna start putting guys in spots. I'm gonna start putting guys like who I want to be in the drill.
Absolutely, because y'all play bad basketball for like stretches of a time.
Definitely.
I just be sitting there looking at like, what are y'all thinking sometimes? But I mean, obviously, it's like, we're learning as we go. And I think the biggest thing is like decision making, like especially when we go to like transition. Oh my gosh! So I think one time when we were doing like 5-on-4 conversions, I think we had like 4 turnovers back to back, like just stupid ones. Not even like let's say I'm throwing the ball, Max just like happened to have an athletic play, just tips it, like which is like bad, like a bad pass, like my grandma could have got it, type of stuff. I was like, it was terrible. But I mean, we just learning as we go. Hopefully, we can clean that up. That's the biggest thing.
Is that a pet peeve for you when people throw bad turnovers?
Yes, pet peeve. Yes. Oh my gosh, bad turnovers, bad shots. Trying to think. Just bad energy too. Like sometimes we're gonna be down. Like it's just basketball. It's just nature of basketball. We're gonna be down. So don't like if Max take Matt turn over the ball or Max turn over the ball. It's like don't get mad at Max. Like let's try to correct it.
Palms up.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. Just bad energy in general. I hate that when you're getting down on a player. Now if Max was the type of player that needs that, then yes, you know what I mean. Like,
and there definitely are players that need that. Yeah. Like for example, I don't feel like I am one of the players I don't thrive when I'm being yelled at. But that being said, something kind of unrelated to like the turnovers thing. But like I told Coach Bishop had a conversation. I told him like, Coach, like if there are times where I'm just like in that in between zone of like someone shoots the ball, when someone shoots the ball, you have like a half second. So I'm gonna crash or I'm gonna get back on defense. And sometimes you get caught doing nothing. And I feel like sometimes when I go and I just go with my instincts and I crash hard, I get a lot of offensive rebounds. But there are times where I'm kind of stuck in that in between. And I asked him, my coach, like verbalize, like let me know, like let me not yell at me, but like call me out on that, whether I'm not crashing on defense or offense. Because I feel like if we're gonna be if whatever lineup I'm on, if I'm one of the forwards and I'm not effectively rebounding, it's gonna be tough for me to be on the court and be our team or whatever lineup I'm on to be successful if one of the forwards isn't crashing and stuff like that. And so I need to get out of that bad habit of kind of like ball watching. So like there are definitely moments of different things where different guys like for me need that extra encouragement, you know, or that extra kind of push.
Another pet peeve is like when somebody comes out the game asking if it was a good shot or a bad shot. I think that's another pet peeve.
Why does that bother you?
Because if you're asking, that means it was a bad shot. You was unsure.
Yeah. Because they wouldn't ask if it went in.
Or you're confident.
Yeah, you was unconfident. Was that a bad shot? That means, you didn't think he was going to make it. So
you shouldn't take it.
Shouldn't take it.
Okay, makes sense. Because like I watched, this is definitely like passed down because Coach Hack was so intense as a person. His coaching style, I guess you could say, so rubbed off on me. But I hate watching bad transition basketball. When I see someone take a 2-on-1 and an extendo, obviously not going to name names, but there's certain people who love to do the old extendo over two people when someone's like he's like wide open on the corner. When I see that, I'm in the stands and I like clench my fist and Ben will like tap me like, bro, relax, you're not even.
But just like
it makes me so mad to watch bad decision making in the transition. But that's the thing, that when I see really good decision making and someone throws a laser pass like someone's hand and they hit it and then it's just a wide open layup, that makes me so happy, like so happy. Like there's times that has happened in the practice where I almost got up and like fist bumped and I'm on the stands. I have no relation to the team whatsoever, but I just love watching good basketball.
That's the biggest thing. I feel like it's like, what are you seeing? Like that's the point. You know what I mean? Like when somebody make a bad pass or like it's just a stupid turnover, it's like, what are you seeing? Like what are you seeing? Like refs make a bad call. All right, what are you seeing? Like what are you seeing?
What about when you try and get the ball to your point guard and the assistant coach walks through the pass?
This boy hit me with the pass.
I actually
watched the ball.
You were walking right. You were at the top of the 3-point line. You ended up on the block. You walked right
with the ball. Just dribble the ball up court. You know?
Definitely.
It's transition.
It's bad decision making.
Boy, hit me with the ball.
No, that was
Aiden smacking the ball. Like what's wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? All that happened within like 3 plays.
No, it was bad. It was. Coach throws me the ball. I try to throw it to Sean. Sean's running ahead, and you're walking down and hits you in the head. Next possession down, Aiden like tips the pass.
Pass like this. I'm like, well, all right, y'all on one today. Yeah, lucky it was. What? I'd have been on the line. We'd have been on the line.
I feel like we like some of the maybe stupid stuff comes out of like that. Like Aiden doing that. Sticking his hand, which comes out of like he's trying to get a competitive edge. He's trying to like, you know what I mean? That's not all coming out of a bad. It's not all coming from a bad place.
Wait, tap, man. I like Aiden a lot though. I think he's gonna be
he's
really
a great
good
guy.
for us.
I agree. Super athletic. Yeah. Super athletic.
You said about the energy. Have you been on teams where you've experienced either bad energy pulling a team down or good energy pushing them forward?
Yeah. Especially coming from Duggan, we had a couple bad energy guys. Kind of cleaned up at the middle to the end. Middle to the end. That bad energy just hate it, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get down on your teammates. Like, we're all here for the same reason, same goal. Like, as much as he turned the ball over 10 times, I'm pretty sure he wants to win. He has the same jersey as you. So, pick him up.
You said it was cleaned up. That means like they were kicked off the team or
no,
attitude changes were fixed?
Attitude change.
Okay.
So at Duggan, when I first started at Duggan, this is during COVID, so we only had like 8 games. So we actually played against RJ.
Really?
Yeah. So
did RJ get some dunks?
He did. He did dunk on one of our players.
Really?
Yeah. He didn't dunk on him. He dunked by him.
RJ dunks by me a lot.
Yeah, just by him.
No, but I feel like I'm always like in the vicinity when he dunks it. I feel like
he got some bunnies though.
He's never got me, but I feel like I'm always in the vicinity.
He's never gotten anybody. He only dunks when there's nobody around.
No, he got a guy on Plymouth last year off of a lob from TC. Bad.
On the lob, right?
Yeah, from TC. Yeah. Put on guys. Yeah, RJ's definitely got a couple. Definitely got a couple.
Yeah, but he was on that Bay State team. Bay State had a good team that year. They went to the Western Mass Championship. They had a couple good guys, RJ being one of them. But we used to play like these 2 teams back to back. So we played Renaissance and Bay State. There was some like kind of in our pool, I guess. But we was losing every game. So mind you, this is varsity basketball. We didn't have no JV at the time. I had 4 high school players on the team. A freshman, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. And then
And
the
the
rest were 7th and 8th grade.
Damn.
Playing varsity basketball.
Damn.
We were getting smacked.
That's
Getting
crazy.
smacked. And then one time we was in the game, and just one of my point guards was talking crazy to Bay State, and then they turned it around and they blew us out by like 20.
You point guard like a 7th grader?
He was a 7th grader.
That's kind of.
He was in 8th grade at the time. Sorry.
Those guys are probably like how are they now? They're like
They're all tough.
Everybody's
tough. That kid that RJ dunked by, I'm gonna say he didn't dunk on him. He dunked by him. He got a D1 scholarship to Buffalo State as a wide receiver. Yeah.
Buffalo State is it Division 3 now?
No.
UB.
Buffalo. Yeah.
University of Buffalo.
University of Buffalo.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. TJ graduated. TJ might come to Elms. That's one of the recruits that was here. Calvin's at Holyoke. I think he got a couple D2 offers. Trying to think who else. Julian Chapman, he started at Putnam. Trying to think who else. I think that's about it that we had.
It's probably tough to, like you said, one of the biggest things coaches managing personalities. When you have 7th and 8th graders on varsity, like bad attitudes, but it's not even, it's coming from a bad place. It's coming of immaturity, and it's like they don't know how to handle those adversity situations and stuff. But I'm sure as the season goes on, like you said, everyone cleans it up because you learn as a 7th, 8th grader, probably like 13, 14.
Playing against 17, 18 year old.
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
You have to, you have to mature quickly. You have to grow up.
We were 0 and 8 that year. I almost got a tech, threw a chair down the hallway. It's a crazy story. But the next year, we ended up cleaning up. We was 10 and 14. Well, 10 and something. And then the last year I was there, we had like the best record of the season. Or the best record of the school history.
That's crazy.
There's the same 7th, 8th graders on the team with this?
Yeah. So my whole thing was, so I'm like, if y'all just stay here, like everybody, so Duggan's like kind of like the breeding grounds for everything. So we have our 7th, 8th graders, they don't want to stay for high school. So they just go to like Central, they go to Putnam, and Central and Putnam are like the bigger schools, like D1, D2 schools. So I was like, hey, if y'all stay here, we develop, I promise you we'll be good. Like I see our potential right now is like you're 13 and you're competing. Like I promise you we'll be good. And then I was like, all right, you know what? I looked at the rule book. MIAA lets you coach AAU, but as long as your team is 50%. So I was like, all right, cool. So I got 50% of my Duggan kids, and I just got 50% of like
Random.
Yeah, random. who were good, by the way. So we kind of like just breed together, and then just coach AAU for like years, like spring, summer, like just like kind of all year with the same kids, and just kind of develop them, and then see them grow. It's like the best thing ever.
That's huge. I feel like that's another thing that we have this year is like we have a lot of returning guys, like 12, 13 kind of core returning guys. Yeah. And so last year there was like a ton of new guys. We had a lot of turnover. So this year with a lot more consistency, we were like really, I definitely feel like a lot more people know each other's habits. Like, you know, to get Aaron on that low block so we can do that spin baseline.
Oh, yeah.
This is a tab class. Like, yeah, there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot more of that chemistry that we're continuing to build. Mm-hmm. At least at this point in the season. Compared to last year, it was a lot more just like ISO, not as much trust in guys and stuff, not as much like that family. And so I definitely feel like we still have ways to go, of course, but I definitely feel like our starting point, just because of that aspect of that chemistry and that time piece, is definitely going to be something that's going to help us this year.
What kind of influence did you have in terms of like that negative energy? Like, what were you trying to do specifically to try and turn around that negative energy on the team?
I really just met with kids just one-on-one. And just like kind of explain to them, because it's not coming from a rotten place, I would say. It's just a kid that's passionate about winning, and there's this kid that's not like on the same level, and he's getting frustrated. So it's just like, bro, he's trying to win. He's trying. This kid is 13 years old. He is 5'3", and he's not the fastest kid. So like, you're getting frustrated at him for what? If you was in that same position with the same body type and attributes, quote unquote, like you wouldn't be able to do the same things he's doing. Like, he's trying. So it was like trying to explain to kids. He's like, all right, I get it, blah, blah, blah. Like, he doesn't react positively with that way. So you have to like try and clean up. So I met with guys that like a lot, our captain a lot, and he turned it around. He did a good job trying to get everybody together, and then we ended up losing like in the States, but like we had a good run, I would say.
Did you have good chemistry in your high school team? Because Chris went to a really small high school, but I feel like it's another example of all those guys played together for so long. Do you guys have good chemistry?
it's hard because we played 8 games this season, our entire thing, because there's only 4 teams in our conference. So like you could only play
Small school
twice.
basketball in rural Ontario is completely different.
Yeah, you only play each other twice, and then you have
Kawasa.
but it's before that. There's WAAs, and then there's Kawasa, or there's BAAs, and there's Kawasa. So you get 1 game in BAAs, you get 1 game in Kawasa, 2 if you win, and then you go on. So it's like at most, if we were dominant,
You're not going off. You're also not going off. So
is what I'm saying. So like super dominant, we might go 12 games, and that's our entire season. So it's
12
like,
games?
it's hard to develop chemistry in that sense. I mean, like
When do y'all have, like, you don't have like rules though, so y'all can play like all year round?
what do you mean?
Like
It's not super like Canadian. It's serious Canadian high school basketball, but like not super. Like there's no overbearing entity that like makes sure you only are doing things at this time, this way, this kind of thing. So it's not really like super rule oriented.
So like your team, did y'all like stay with each other like, all the time? Like play in the summer with the same head coach? No.
There was no summer runs, nothing like that.
Really?
It didn't exist.
Wow.
It's not very like. It's just like more
Extracurricular.
Yeah,
That's literally
extracurricular.
what
At least
it
where Chris lives, and even honestly, like because I went to a public school in like definitely closer to Toronto than Chris was. Definitely more southern. Like probably like I live like 35 minutes away from the city.
Yeah.
And listen, it was more like structured than that, but it wasn't like we were practicing 4 times a week. No really runs in the no runs in the. It's more like at least.
This is crazy.
Listen, this is like this is a
Canada is really different. Huh?
This is at schools where like a public school. Like if you go to a private schools or prep schools, like it's a lot more taken seriously. Like that's if you want to play college basketball out of Canada, you really have to go to a prep school, although because it's just not taken seriously at public schools or at just like regular schools. Like you have to go to a school.
So how'd y'all get here? How'd y'all get to
That's
that?
where that was going. Before I answer that, do private schools in Canada have that overarching entity that like makes sure they're doing shit the right way? Like you have
Well,
a
it depends.
start
Like
date,
for
end date?
example, Crestwood, which is where like Elijah Fisher was. There's like a lot of D1 guys there. It's a very good private prep basketball school. They're in the OSBA.
Yeah.
Or they're in the NPH league, whatever it is. So they play prep. So there is that league that they play in. Like St. Mike's too, St. Jude's. Yeah, there is. It just depends on what league you play in, right? Like NCAA teams have different rules than NJCAA teams, same as NAIA teams, and Division 1, 2, 3 is all different. Yeah. But I got here, so I went to a public school in Canada for my first 2 years of high school, 3 years of high school, and then I went to during COVID. I kind of realized like I took basketball seriously probably since like freshman sophomore year. But by seriously I mean like putting my all into it, and I decided like listen, this is not the place for me anymore. Like I've outgrown this area. I'm not really. It's going to be really hard for me to reach my goal of playing in college, and also COVID. Like I don't know if there's going to be a season next year for my senior year, so I was connected to some different agents who have different connections in the U.S. and in Canada at different prep schools.
So like an agent?
Type thing. And then she connected me to a bunch of schools. A bunch of schools offered me opportunities, and the one that I like my film, like my play style, whatever, and had a couple meetings, and then the one that kind of felt like was the most home was this school called Andrews Osborne Academy in Northeast Ohio in a small town called Willoughby, and then that's like the most.
So Ohio's a wild place.
We were not in
middle schoolers.
We were in like for the middle schools, yeah,
So
yeah. But yeah, so I had a good career there. My coach was very familiar with Division III basketball. He played and he was actually an All-American at John Carroll University, and he was like the school's college advisor. So that combination of background had a ton of connections and stuff like that. And he actually played against Coach Hack in college at Medaille because John Carroll and those years were like both nationally ranked, and they played in the NCAA tournament. And they were both the best players on their team, so they kind of knew each other.
Yeah, that's dope.
And so he also connected me to a bunch of other schools, but that connection with Coach Hack kind of made me feel the most comfortable. And so went to Medaille, and then Medaille shut down, and went to the transfer portal, and Coach Southall hit me up, and that's kind of how I ended up here. But Chris has a lot different of a story.
Yeah, I'm only here because of Jesus. I'm not gonna lie to you. He took the wheel, 100%.
Shout out Jesus.
I had the same realization when I was in grade 10 that there was like no way I was going to play college basketball if I stuck around my 300-person town. But I couldn't really do anything about it because I didn't have a car or money or knew anyone. So I kind of just had to eat that until grade 11 when I got a car. And then I drove to a tryout in Toronto.
Which is how far from your house?
2.5 hours.
Oof.
And I grabbed two of my best friends, and we all went to this tryout. And it was insane going from a 300-person town to like the tallest person I'd ever seen in my life was like maybe 6'5". And now I'm guarding Elijah Fisher in a Crestwood tryout. And
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
is.
Like
Elijah
he's 6'8". He went to Texas Tech. Like, no idea what's going on. He's guarding me full court, and I'm like trying to figure things out on the fly. And so like their point guard who was known for defense. I found this out later. He picked me up full court in one of the runs, and I like did a move or something, and I broke his ankles. He fell on the floor. And I pulled up from like 30 and laced it. The whole gym went fucking nuts.
That'd go crazy.
I made the team. My other two friends didn't make it, so then I was driving 2.5 hours
back
there 4 times a week.
You had to drive him back when he got cut?
Yeah, it was an awkward car.
That's tough.
But like I'm driving 2.5 hours to practice now, 4 times a week.
Each way,
I made that team.
2.5 hours there, 2.5
hours back at the age of 17 because I just wanted it that badly. And
it's like going to. It's like farther than Boston.
It's like going to New York and back.
Yeah, so I'm doing that 4 times a week to just try and get exposure because the coach knew every college out there. And so, like, I'm trying to do that and just gather all of this stuff that's happening at the same time. I dropped that team because COVID happens, and I end up paying like $100 every week for like a Zoom workout, which is just like dribbling in your bedroom. And it's like, there's no, what am I doing? So that lost that. And then I tried out for 2 teams the next summer, one in Scarborough, which is like an hour.
It's a borough of Toronto.
Yeah, it's a small borough. And then there was another team, Northern Kings. Northern Kings, I played horrible and got snipped from that team. And then SBA, I thought I played amazing in that tryout, and I was frying everybody.
Mm-hmm. We had the coach on the podcast.
And he let me know that apparently the only reason I made that team was because he saw something in me over the 6'5" Indian kid that also tried out because I had more fundamental base than he did.
but you were
I thought I was murdering people. So he was the only reason I made that team. And so that's another 2.5 hour drive. At this point, it's the same thing. It's 2.5 hours. It's Toronto, the only place that has like really good basketball.
You can like stay there?
Mm.
No?
I'm still in high school. I have to drive there, drive back. Have high school practice at 7 a.m. So I get.
So a day look for you. So what's the school day?
So I wake up at 8:30, get to school, go to school.
8:30.
Well, just high school starts at 8:55. So I get there at 8:30 before classes, whatever. Go to school from 9 till 3:30. Get out of school. Go back to my house, get something to eat. Drive to practice at 7 o'clock. So I leave at like 5. I have an hour and a half to chill at home. Get there at 5. Practice from 5 to 8 or 5 to 7:30, get back home, sleep, wake up, go to high school practice at like 7 o'clock the next morning and just run it up. And then you got games on the weekend, so like...
How much was gas out there?
I don't know if I should... I'm going to have to cut this, but basically... Yeah. But yeah, so I'm doing that 5 times a week. I'm just gunning it. I'm trying to figure this out and make college basketball. I'm driving myself to fucking... I've never been to it. I never left Canada. I had to get my passport the first time I had an AAU game that was across the border. So I got my passport the same day that I went to Ohio for this thing. I drove 5 hours down there by myself, never been to the border. I'm 18 years old, know what's going on. And I like went to all these things in America, and I wasn't playing that well. Like I was growing a lot as a basketball player, but I wasn't playing all that well. And then I had started this thing on TikTok called Day in the Life of Grinding to Make a College Basketball Team. And I got
the guy like Day in the Life or Road to D1 on TikTok. There's like a really guy.
Same concept. Yeah. I basically started that just as like kind of a thing. I just wanted to document my progress or whatever. And no, I didn't start it. But like I just kind of picked up on it. And I started doing it. And this girl that I went to high school with messaged me out of the blue. And she's like, have you heard of NCSA? Like, I saw your thing on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, you should do this. So I had no idea. Like, she didn't text me, there's no way I'd be here right now. She texted me, told me about NCSA. I got NCSA, and it was a blank profile for probably like 4 or 5 months. This is in my 13th year of high school, so it's like January, and I just have this NCSA profile that's just kind of open that we're paying for that I've not done anything with. And the guy who was like supposed to be your one-on-one coach that you're paying for, he called me and he was like, hey, like let's set this up, let's do it. Like you don't have much time left, like we really have to do this. So he sets it up for me, and he's like pushing me to do all this stuff, and I sent out like 50 emails in March probably, and then all of a sudden I'm starting to get emails back and stuff, and I ended up getting 2 official offers by June or July. And so one of them was Coach Long from Madai, and then that all transpired. But it was like basically like I ended up with an offer in pretty much August, and then like 2 weeks later I was at the school. Yeah. So it was like divine intervention to some degree. I'm pretty convinced.
That's crazy. I kind of got the same thing, like getting to school late, but that's a crazy story.
It is a crazy story. Yeah. Now he doesn't even hoop anymore. Now he's just out here.
Yeah, now you just
lift hella weights.
Yeah, just lift weights. And you still play like a little bit here and there?
Yeah, he played runs.
Yeah, unironically, like my buddy back home that I played with in high school, he texted me a week or 2 ago, and he unconsensually signed me up for a basketball tournament on the Halloween weekend in Canada. Yeah. So now I'm kind of like grinding to get back into shape for that. But after that's over, I'm probably not going to touch a ball for a while. I'm trying to get big. No.
So
my chest.
I'll explain my story how I got to MCLA. But how did you guys meet? I just met at Badai. Both of y'all just
First week we met each other in the gym.
So we had pretty much right when we got to campus, we had 6 a.m. lifts 4 days a week.
Okay.
And so we spent a lot of time with the team, but like we had like 22, 23 guys. Like we didn't really. And me, I already had kind of a friend group. Chris kind of was hanging out with his roommate and stuff like that, you know, freshman shit.
yeah, man.
So we didn't really interact, and then really at all. And then
it was Brad, wasn't it?
And then I was injured, so he came up to me on the sidelines of a run because I was just watching runs, and he's like, "Are you Max Rolnick?" And I'm like, "Yeah." What, like, and he's like, "You know Brad?" And I'm like, "No, who the hell's Brad?" And he's like he shows me. He's like, "Oh, Brad." So his AAU coach, I had like not some history with, but like he's a pretty big name in Canadian basketball. He like is the head coach of the junior academy for like this district. It's like Team Canada at the younger ages has like separated into like districts, or at least Team Ontario has separated into like districts for like the younger age, and they funnel them up to like the best players play for Team Ontario. And so he's the head coach of like the big one of the or two of the districts. So I tried out for one of those district teams. I guess definitely didn't make it. But I was like right on the border of it, and he kind of I guess was keeping tabs on me, and just to see my progression. And then he let Chris know that I think you're going to college with someone else that I know from Canada. Like maybe you guys want to be shooting partners or something like that. Is what he said.
He said word for word, "How are you getting along with Rolnick?" And I said, "Who the fuck is Rolnick?" And I had to like look at the roster, realize who you were, and then and then we started shooting free throws together. And then one day we were in his room with his roommate Joe, who's a psychopath. But
another story for another day.
But we were just chilling, just talking and laughing and stuff. And I was telling him about how like I've always wanted to start a podcast, and like because I'm the type of person who's like. I've done a bunch of crazy shit throughout my life, and I'm always the person to execute it. Like, everyone else talks about it, they talk about it, but I'm like, I execute it. I get it done in a week. I get it done whenever it needs to get done. And he was saying, like, he's the same way.
And he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I bet. I'm like, have 10 ideas for the first podcast topic by tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
Yeah, and then like, it was just on.
And it was 2 a.m.
Yeah,
at this point. We had left at 6 a.m.
Yeah, it was like a Sunday night, and we were just talking about this. And then the next day, we bought the Apple Podcast thing. We made the logo. We made the name. We did all that stuff. And we just...
It was launched kind of just two people that had like very similar, I guess.
Yeah. And the first episode was recorded on a Triscuits box with his phone.
With the Triscuits.
And then we kind of
character right there.
We locked in. Yeah. This is school year number 3 of Ships Across the Border.
That's fine.
That's how we met. But so we had also like, for example, the best player on his AU team, the Scarborough team, which was his the last one. He played where he met that coach and everything. Was one of my good friends. I went to like camp with him when I was a child. He actually played with me on my like summer pro-am team this summer. Like we're pretty close friends. So we've had a lot of different like I've worked with people who play on his team. We've had a lot of like you said with Coach O and Coach Pish and everything's kind of leading you here. Like we had a lot of different kind of red strings that kind of.
It's really crazy how like connections really. So another crazy story is like I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I lived there for 16 years. I don't know. But played AAU. My dad was the coach. So my dad was coaching with this other guy named Coach Griffin, who was like our guy. Like that's like they're like cool friends. His son played on our team, Ladarian Griffin. Ladarian was like dumb nice. One of our better players. Went D1, went to St. Bonaventure, and Coach Chris, Coach Bish coached him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
Like you got a dude from Massachusetts, from Jacksonville, Florida, meeting in New York. It's like crazy.
We had 2 people from Canada live 2.5 hours away from each other. Only met, who have so many connections. Only met in the U.S. And then Madai shuts down, and we decide he even before Madai shut down, like at the end of the season, Chris decided he didn't want to play anymore. And then he had no attachment to any school or basketball or anything like that. So then he's like, well, Max, where are you going? We kind of talked like, fuck it, let's just go together and keep the podcast going. And you can be involved in the school and social media and everything. And
that's tough. And
then he just...
That's fire.
And just... Blue Mountain State, like the show?
Oh my God, how do we keep doing that?
He's like Sammy Cacciatore.
Nah.
And so you said you were going to talk about the story about how you got to MCLA.
Yeah, crazy story. So went to Sci Tech. Sci Tech is Springfield, State Street. Just like
you moved from Tampa to or Jacksonville,
Florida.
Trying to disrespect me, right?
My fault. Tampa's a nice area. I've been there.
Tampa's a great area. But
it's not Jacksonville. That used to live in Tampa.
Yeah,
still lives in Tampa.
Sorry, still lives, but he's at FTU with our old coach.
Yeah. So moved to Jacksonville. Moved from Jacksonville to Springfield. Crazy transition. Never really like experienced snow, so it was like crazy to see. That was like the biggest culture shocks, like shoveling snow. Like it's crazy. You had to shovel it, and then I had to like. So I stayed at my aunt's house. We had to shovel this driveway, and then she didn't go anywhere. It was like,
then your snow reaccumulates.
That's the thing. Just shovel the driveway.
Yeah.
Just to like had to, what? That's
Snow
crazy to me.
reaccumulates on top of it.
Yes,
and
what?
yeah.
I was shook. Didn't know how heat worked. I don't know. So just whole thing. So basically went to Sci Tech, and like I said, I don't know what about this small school. So MCLA is small, D3 school, North Adams, Massachusetts, Western Mass, in the mountains. 1,200 student population, probably going down and down. I think it's probably like 700, 800 now. Yeah, it's getting a little bad. So like this small school, just has like so many connections. Like I said, like Coach Skiff, who got me at Plattsburgh, Coach Pish, who got me here. Just like so many guys. So I'm at Sci Tech. I wanted to go to UMass Amherst or back to Florida. That was like my two things. So I got into UMass Amherst. The bill was like too much. Obviously, it's like a D1 school. Yeah. Like the bill was too much.
Too, right? You must have a private school.
Yeah. So it was just like, all right. So I was just like trying to explore other options. So the person who was doing my financial aid, this company called You Aspire, and they're doing my financial aid, and this guy Jamal Brown.
Shout out
JB. Went to MCLA and put MCLA on my FAFSA just cause he went there. So it was just like, all right. So MCLA is like now on my FAFSA. So I kind of like,
to go there.
So I had like got to apply basically. So I'm like, you know what? Like fuck that. I'm not applying. Like I don't even know this school. So one of my best friends, Jasper. Shout out to Jasper too. He ended up getting in. So he was like, yo, just apply. Like we'll be roommates. Like just apply. So I'm like, nah. So mind you, just like August, and like school starts in like September 3rd. So like a couple weeks. So I'm in Florida. And then I was like, all right, fuck it. So I applied to the school, and then like basically like getting in, but I didn't know that. So they called me for an interview. So I'm like outside playing basketball, like having a good time, 17, 18 years old. And then they're like, oh yeah, this is MCLA, this is like your admission interview. So I'm like, I was like, oh shit. So I had to pause the phone. I ran to like somebody, like the block I'm at is like, it's hot. Like it's mad people talking, there's mad things going on. So I have to like go to a quiet place. So I ran to somebody's random backyard. So like somebody would have like.
It's a random person.
It's a random person backyard. Somebody would just looked out. I could have got shot, like anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're in the hood. So just like, so I'm on the phone. I'm like trying to catch my breath. I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And then Dane, who did my interview, shout out to Dane. Dane was like just hired there, and then I was his first interview, and not even knowing. So he was like kind of nervous himself too a little bit. So we're both like just talking, end up getting in. Then I go to MCLA. Mind you, we got lost. So it's like it's in the mountains. So you have to like go to these winding worlds. This thing called a hairpin turn. And I'm like show you the picture of it. So like you put it up on the podcast. It's like this crazy like little cliff. It's like this little guardrail. So basically, if you go off, you're done. Like you're cooked. So mind you, my mom don't have a car, my dad don't have a car. So I got my aunt to drive us. My aunt has asthma, so she's going up to this mountains where it's like higher elevation.
Yeah,
Well, your aunt from Jacksonville?
No, from here.
Okay.
So like the house we were staying at, my aunt. So she drove with like my cousins in the back. So like I said, she has asthma, so she can't breathe. She's like, I can't breathe coming up here. So I'm like, I don't even know where we're going. I don't even know if I'm gonna go here. So like, it's just crazy. So like, we're trying to find it. We end up getting lost, and then so I tried to call the school to tell them that we're lost, and I'm not getting admission. So I called Celia Norcross. So Celia's like, just like, I don't know how to explain it. She's like basically an angel. She's like the best person on earth. Like, there's nothing wrong, no flaw, nothing. Like she's literally perfect.
Nancy Davis is what you're saying.
Pretty much. She does everything for us. I ended up working for her. Had an internship. Like if Sheila needed anything, like I would like run to like do it. That's how much like impact she had on my life. So I called her. She ended up finding us. We was like on the Big Y or something. So I don't know how she found us. She had GPS or something. So she found us. She drove us back to MCLA, where it was like down the street. So mind you, like my mom's with us too. So my mom, like, we go into like admissions. They're like, blah blah. So they would take us to financial aid. They was like, oh yeah. So like since like school started, we couldn't like really process like your package. So it's like, oh, just about you can have a out of pocket fee of $4,000. So like I think at this time my mom wasn't working at the time, so it was like $4,000.
A lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like we can't pay this. So I'm sorry. And the lady's like, oh no, don't worry, hold on, 1 second. So she goes in the back. Takes like I want to say like 30 to 45 minutes. She's like, oh, we found you a scholarship. I'm like, what? Like, what you mean you found him a scholarship? She was like, yeah, I was a business major at the time, or the whole time at MCLA. She was like, yeah, the scholarships for freshman business majors. The person who had it before you dropped out.
Wow.
Yesterday. Yesterday. So she was like, it's yours if you want it. I was like, shit, fuck, give it to me, please. Like, and then I think it was like probably like another $1,000 I had to owe. And then You Aspire, Jamal Brown gave me the rest for like a scholarship. So that's how I got into MCLA.
Wow.
And you were recruited for basketball at that point, or not?
Nah, I wasn't even recruited.
So then how did you end up playing there?
So I was about to give up basketball. Like, it's tough just being a small guard, you know what I mean? So, and I was fat too. I was like 100. I'm fat now, but like 100, like 100. I was like close to like 190, 195.
That's what I'm at right now.
Yeah, but like the height difference is crazy. So I'm like fat. At this school trying to play college basketball. So I was like, you know, fuck it, I'll try out. I'm looking at the runs. I'm like, I could shoot a little bit. At this point, I was like probably just a shooter. Couldn't do too much after that. And then I had like kind of like rearranged my game to like being like a point guard, actual point guard, trying to make reads, trying to like go downhill. That's why I kind of like eventually like developed too. But other than that, yeah. So I just like applied or tried out. End up kind of like quote unquote making it in a sense, but couldn't play because I didn't have my chickenpox shot. So I kind of stayed around the team. I was like a manager, traveled, did everything a manager would do, do all the little stuff. And then like all my boys were on the team, so it was kind of cool. Sophomore year, ended up making the team. And then at that point in
Did
time,
you guys have tryouts every year?
No. Well, yeah, we had tryouts every year, but it wasn't like 30 guys. Like, that's crazy. We had like probably had like 18 to 19 guys try out.
Yeah,
and
like
we'll,
one or two walk-ons.
Yeah, one or two walk-ons, and we'll cut the walk-ons. So quote unquote, I was the walk-on, and then making the team. But I had like that summer, I was like, all right, I need to play college basketball. So every day I worked out twice a day, 3 times a day, and then lost 50 pounds. So I got to like 145.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was like crazy. Yeah, a crazy small. Like if I show you pictures, it's like you won't believe it. It's like crazy.
I believe it.
145 is
Yeah,
a
like
wet
small,
towel
though,
weight.
small. But I was like quick as shit though. I was like fast, like the fastest I've ever been. But I think my body wasn't like used to that because I wasn't like, in a sense, I wasn't like getting stronger. I was just getting like
Leaner.
yeah and faster. So I was like quick as shit, but like my body muscles wasn't like kind of adjusting. So if I stop on a dime, like my knee would just like go out.
Yeah, I can feel that. That happens a lot to power lifters, especially if they're on steroids, is where your muscles can grow way faster than your tendons can catch up. So
Yeah.
they get to the point where they're benching like 500 pounds, but your tendons in your pec don't catch up, so you snap it.
Yeah, so that's what happened. And then it's crazy because so I ended up getting hurt my sophomore year, and it's kind of like the reoccurring injury, my knee and stuff like that. So senior year, this when like Coach Pitch left, so we had like 4 or 5 seniors, and then all the seniors quit because Coach Shell was trying to make like a crazy impact. So he was like basically like if this bus leaves at 7 a.m. and you're not on this bus, you were left. Okay. And then one of my friends, who's like also a college coach now, he ended up having like work late and then like had to miss the bus, so left him. So I'm the only senior on the bus, like driving. Like all the seniors like, all right, fuck that. They all just quit.
Because they wouldn't let him back on the bus.
They
He
wouldn't
left
let him on
early.
the bus.
They like.
And then he was like, basically find your way to the game.
Okay.
And like I was like, we're college, no car, no nothing.
Yeah.
So couldn't make it work. They ended up quitting. I'm the only senior on the team, like only senior. This is like our worst year too. So I'm the only senior on the team. We have Midnight Madness. Midnight Madness is lit. So like start a little pep rally before the season, and they call all the players, blah blah blah. Starting that. So we got Max, the junior from Canada. They call your name. Everybody goes crazy. So like at this point in time, I'm not like trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but like I'm kind of known around campus. I was like known around campus for like my sophomore year. So this small campus, I'm known. Everybody knows me. Like it's lit. We doing pranks. It's like all this funny stuff. Like we did so many pranks in MCLA. It's crazy. But I'm the only senior, so they call me. Everybody goes crazy. The crowd storms the court. It's that.
And you're also the only senior.
I'm the only senior.
Yeah.
Crowd storms the court. They're like, oh, trap. We all jump. Trap.
That's sick. That's a sick moment.
Yeah, and then jump too high.
Yeah, so you better play well that game.
No. Jump too high. Like, they're throwing me in the air. Trap. Jump too high. Blew out my knee. Just boom, cracked. Tore my meniscus, bro. Basically tore my meniscus or my patella, whatever it was. I was out for like the first month of the season. And then trying to come back, it was like kind of crazy. Yeah, so it's just like, I really got hurt during the pep rally.
That's crazy.
They're throwing me in the air. Mind you, I'm like light as shit, so like they're throwing me.
That's
like,
crazy. But also,
up.
something we always talk about in the podcast is like just doing something, being so consistent that either you win or everybody else kind of drops out. And I kind of see like that's something that
It's a long race, bro.
really happened for you. And it's a long
Marathon.
race, and it's like maybe you started off freshman year, made the team, but couldn't really play, and whatever. You work your way up, and eventually, obviously, before you got hurt, like you're the man. And part of that is because like you were so consistent, you ran the race, and it wasn't necessarily because you became Michael Jordan. It's just because you were so consistent and everything that everyone else dropped out. And at the end of the day, no matter how you get to that top, like you're at the top, you know.
It's a marathon, man.
100%.
It's a marathon.
Creating that. I don't know if this is an Alex Hormozy quote or someone's quote, but I think it's hard work increases the surface area of your luck. So it's like if you just stay in it, eventually you're going to get to the point where something has to break.
Yeah.
Where you're just like in the right spot at the right time, and then you get your moment. And then it's just, if you can continue to work
I'm
hard.
sure
I'll say
throughout
good.
your college career, you definitely had your moment. I'm sure because you were playing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was
And
okay.
so-
I wasn't like the guy. I wasn't scoring, but
But you were consistent enough to get those opportunities. You know?
it was okay. Good time. A lot of pranks though. A lot of pranks.
Like what? Throw us
We
into
need
what-
some specifics
Yeah, we
you're
need
gonna
some
say.
specifics.
specifics. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
If they're
Let me see what I
PG.
can say on the. Yeah, I'm about to say what I gotta say on the podcast.
I want to say,
Trying to
I have
think.
a friend that went to a college in Canada, and I can almost get. I mean, maybe you guys are nuts, but I have a friend who has some insane stories from college.
Yeah.
In the deep woods of Canada.
Tell-
They are correct.
Tell us a PG story for the viewers, and then tell us a crazy one that we'll cut.
Ooh. Like pranks or stuff that I've seen.
all of the
But all-
above.
All of it. Oh, okay. I'll
Crazy
give you a
shit.
PG prank. Trying to think.
If you don't have one, I have some from this
Uh,
college
I'm trying
that
to
are
think
going
of
to get
just, like,
cut
some-
immediately.
What else you do? I used to put like out of order signs on the bathroom so I can go in there by myself. It's just like little shit like that. What else we did? So 2016 was when the Patriots came back from the Super Bowl and they beat the Falcons that year.
Sure.
It was like that 28-3 lead. I want to say.
I know what you're talking about. I don't
You know
know.
what I'm
if
talking
it's- I don't know.
The wrong
I
guy.
can't-
I don't
confirm
watch.
it
I don't
was-
watch any football.
I know what you're
so-
talking about. I can't confirm it's 2016. but
Yeah,
I
I
can't
think it was my junior or senior year.
I know.
I want to say, and then so we're in New England. You know, everybody's a Patriots fan at this point in time. With Tom Brady, obviously. So they came back, and then they won the Super Bowl. So my friend made wrote an email wrote a letter. And basically kind of like photoshops the president's name at the bottom. So the letter was like, oh, due to the miraculous comeback of the Patriots, classes canceled all week.
He sent it out to the whole student
Sent it out to
population.
the whole student population. So nobody was going to class. He had to send like the president had to send a follow up email, basically like saying like, "Oh, this like it's a fake email."
How many days did you get off before he sent that email?
Huh?
How many days did you?
I think it was like, I want to say like a full day, because nobody went to class.
How did he got in trouble?
Nah,
you can't. How's he gonna trace it back to him?
yeah,
I don't know. That's insane.
never get in trouble. I mean, we used to do like little stuff like we had water gun fights. We had gang wars, like the gangs, like our dorms was like the games. I'm trying to think. Try to keep it PG in here.
Is there one that's not like clearly not PG, like the most not
We'll
PG
cut it,
that
we'll
I can
cut it.
cut that I can
Yeah,
cut
we'll
after
cut
this
it.
is done? 'Cause I'll tell you one that I highlight not PG at all, but if it makes you more comfortable to say you're not PG one.
All right. At this point in time, I'm like homeless. So, yeah.
What is
so,
it like homeless?
Yeah. So I can. So this is
cut and dry. I have a home. I don't have a home.
So there's
That's fucked. This is all gonna be cut. That's fucking.
But
That's crazy,
wow.
dude.
Yeah, man.
That's some on par with what I was.
MCLA, shit gets crazy at
It's
MCLA.
crazy. My boy
those
got
small
stabbed.
schools.
People getting shot
At MCLA.
Get crazy. So the only reason I leave so I go to sleep. I leave my ringer on like not vibrate, whatever.
Do you want to serve?
Yeah. No.
Loud. Like
I wanted to wake up.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So my boy ended up getting stabbed. So we was at this party at like this frat house, and like people be coming.
They're frats at MCLA?
Yeah, we got like 7.
7 frats.
7 frats at an 800-person school?
Like frats and sororities.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, crazy.
Small.
Yeah.
Damn, shit gets active
Right.
at MCLA.
Right. It's active, right? So my
Damn.
boy.
She does not get active here.
Not MCLA, bro.
What?
Not chill.
Hell no. I'm cool where it's not active.
So my boy ended up like, so we had this little party at this little frat house, and like, I'm like a big energy person, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I kind of scope the scenery and like to see like bad vibes, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know, I just
Yeah, I know what you're
like
talking
gut
about.
feeling.
Instinctive.
You just seem like somebody just like, yeah, you just up to no good.
For sure.
I don't want to be here at this point. So we all like just everybody's outside, and you know, trying to have a good time, whatever. And I'm just looking at the energy. I'm like, yo, I don't know these people. Like, they're just acting a little suspect. And then I forgot this name. Whoever was the president of that frat, he was like, yo, everybody come inside, come downstairs. We're about to play beer pong. We're about to take shots, like whatever the case is. He's trying, like, in his point of view, he wants everybody inside because if the cops come by and see everybody outside, you're gonna shut down the party. So, good move from him. So, it's a bad move because he's mixing all these crowds. And then that's the problem. So
Damn, someone's got
in my head, I was like, nah, let me go home. I'm like, all right. So my boy, I'm not gonna say his name. So my boy dapped him up, like, yo, y'all be safe, whatever. Go back him. So boom, go back to the crib. I'm like, sleep. Put my phone on silent. And then apparently there was a fight. Come down, somebody got a knife. He ended up stabbing him a couple of times.
Damn.
So Dally's like stabbed, like
Still in there?
Yeah, like legit, bleeded out.
Damn. These are not the people who stabbed him, not MCLA students though. Like the person who stabbed him is not an MCLA
Nah,
student.
he was an MCLA student. Yeah. So, ended up getting stabbed. We had like these townhouses. So I live with girls. So the girl I live with was ended up his girl too. Like, but mutual connection. So he's calling both of us. Like, yo, open up, open up, open up. He's bleeding in our door. Like,
That's
bleeding
fucked.
out in our door. So he's like, open up, blah, blah.
That's
like,
fucked.
Waking up with like 30 missed calls. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, what the fuck? What's going on? End up hearing like he's stabbed. Like, you know
And
what I mean?
he's cool now?
Yeah, he's good now. He ended up playing the next year. Like, it's
Next day, he went dropped like 40.
like legit. And
That's
still,
fucked.
he's athletic too. So still through the legs, dunk, 360 yards.
That's
Crazy.
That we can keep. We can keep that story in.
Yeah.
Just the other one we have to take out.
Nah, ended up getting stabbed. He lives around too, so that's
The
crazy.
small schools is crazy. Because I've been to parties, like the big schools in Canada, shit gets wild. Like McMaster has like 20,000 students. Western has like 15,000. They have
Western has like 50, 60,000.
Sorry, wrong. I guess I was wrong. And they have these things called Hokos, which is like the first homecoming football game of the year.
Okay.
And basically everybody and their mother piles onto the same street, and shit gets 15,000 people.
Flip
in one
cop
street.
cars.
Yeah.
The time I went there,
Flip the cop car.
they flipped a cop car. They yanked out stop signs and were throwing them at the cops. They got on top of the hydro poles and were dancing like it was a stripper pole. It's
tough.
This is kind of depressing, but someone did a backflip off of. They were trying to crowd surf him on a shopping cart, and he tried to do a backflip off of the shopping cart into the crowd and landed on his head, and he died.
Yeah, shit gets,
So
just people do insane shit.
Crazy stuff in Canada.
What? Explain that again.
So they have a shopping cart. He's
on
in the shopping cart as he's crowd surfing through the crowd. He got
on,
on top. In the shopping cart, on the crowd. Yes.
He's crowd surfing.
With a shopping cart, on top of the shopping cart. He steps up onto the side of the shopping cart. I didn't see this happen, but I saw the ambulance try to get through a crowd of 15,000 people, which is insane.
Tough.
But he did a backflip off of the shopping cart into the crowd, and they thought he was going to get caught, and no one caught him, and he landed on his head. Yeah.
Damn.
Passed away.
Wow. That's crazy. Rest in peace.
Fucks, bro.
That's nuts.
So yeah, like that's
shopping
the
cart.
big schools too. And like my buddy went to a super small school. I'm probably going to end up cutting this, but
I don't even know what you can leave in other than
no, because it's gonna cut from him talking about cut back to him talking about the getting stabbed story, and then it's gonna cut my part out, and now it's gonna be this.
Okay.
I think we can go back. I think we can go back to some normal stuff and ask him about it.
My question is, so, and I accept this too. Apparently they be getting on him because you don't wear drawers. This probably get cut too.
No, this get cut then.
Did you not wear drawers? Is that a Canada thing?
It's definitely not a Canada thing. I wear underwear 100% of the time.
Okay, that's
all
just
the time.
you.
You're Mr. Commando.
Because I heard I'm not gonna say a player's name, but I was like,
it was definitely
you got no
Tay.
drawers.
It was definitely
It was
Tay.
definitely Tay.
It was definitely Tay.
Just gonna say names. So it was
okay,
definitely Tay.
if it's all being cut, pretty much. Bro, I have like pajama pants, like sleeping pants that I would
So
wear
this is gonna
to
get
go
cut?
to sleep. Yeah,
Why? This is way more PG than what we just.
It's all being cut.
Nah. So
I have pajama
Say
pants.
came up to me. He was like, "Yo, Max, do you have on drawers?" I was like,
Why do you know that?
Because there was one
Why
time
you
I went to the
asking?
cafe in these sleeping pants and I wasn't wearing
but
drawers.
I was like, "Why you asking this grown ass man?"
You want to know? You want to know something? If you see Aaron after practice, he's not wearing drawers because he takes off his sweaty underwear and puts his pants back on and doesn't wear drawers for the rest of the day. Something about Aaron. If we're calling people out for not wearing drawers, then it's not just me.
So you be wearing what's sleeping pants? That's why.
Like pajamas. Like those plaid pajamas.
So when you wear sleeping pants, you don't wear
don't.
drawers.
He doesn't wear them.
I sleep in my
That being said,
underwear.
they would also clown, like, me and Chris were roommates last year. Like, I would go to sleep in my underwear with Chris in the room. Like,
That's fine.
That's not like...
Everybody does that.
No, they would be clowning us for being in our underwear in the room together.
They clown us for everything though.
Like, he would be sleeping in his underwear. I'd be sleeping in my underwear. But they would think that...
when y'all in the room together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that.
Why-
I would make that
why-
joke too, but it's
not
normal.
weird.
It's,
just
not.
like-
It's not weird. But it's like both of y'all in your underwear in the room.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I
they
can see that joke.
They clown us for like, pretty much everything. Like, yesterday they got on Max because he bites the fork when he eats things. And like,
You bite the fork?
No, what are you doing?
I swear to God.
Was I there when they were getting on me?
No, I don't think so.
Damn.
Because they
You
were
are
like,
you,
"Hi,
Max?
fuck."
no, because like, I was eating some chicken or something, and then Ben looked at me and he goes, "Oh, you're a fork biter too?" And I was like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, "When you and Max eat food, you bite the fork."
You don't bite the fork?
I don't bite the fork.
Apparently, me and you are both fork biters. I've never been insulted like
I
that.
don't even know what that means.
We're
Yes.
fork biters, bro.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, like, but I swear to God, it's just like they just get on us because we're Canadian and anything is weird to them. Like we call the bathroom a washroom, and that's apparently weird. But I don't like. It's not a restroom either. Like you guys say, restroom and bathroom.
It's like if
Well,
you
you
go
don't rest in there. You wash and bathe.
if you
yourself
go in
there.
Canada, like it says washroom instead of like on the
Not for
sign.
that. Yeah, washroom. I get
Like
that.
they just get us. I mean, like, this is kind of weird. I don't sleep with sheets on my bed, and they get
No, that's
messy for all
very
the time.
yo. That's very.
I knew
he
they were
sleeps
gonna
on
go
a
there.
buck
I knew
ass
they were-
naked mattress, bro.
I
No
will-
sheets, no comforter, no anything.
I will volunteer
Cut.
this information. I will volunteer this information because I just don't give a fuck anymore. But yeah,
That's weird.
I don't put
That's
sheets
the
on my
weird.
bed.
He doesn't.
I just
He doesn't
don't.
wear shower shoes.
no
He doesn't wear shower shoes.
It is bedding. Like
People
the bed-
pee in that shower, bro.
the
Max pees in the shower.
I know he does, but like there's mattress, and then
Mattress.
my body. That's all it is. Because I put sheets on there and they just fall off, and then I just get
Is that like
tired.
is that like just how you grew
No,
up?
it's a
No, I
low.
have sheets on my bed at home. I just don't bother to like do.
Hold
it
on.
here.
So what?
I just
You
it's
have
just
sheets on your bed at home. So
Yes.
why that? Where the switch come
because
from?
it's just like a hassle.
I'll tell you what
a
it is.
hassle.
Because I
I'll tell
move
you
a
what
lot
it
in my
is.
sleep, so like I put them on and then I sleep and then they're off, and it's like I just can't be
I'll
bothered.
tell you
anymore.
How much you moving when the sheets fall off?
No, I'll tell you what it is.
just
He doesn't
moved
have
to
a fitted sheet.
That's
He's
it.
trying to put a square sheet on the mattress.
Get a fitted sheet.
That's also a lot of effort. At this point, I'm just accustomed to it. At this point, I'm just accustomed to it. Like I sleep
The
fine.
mattress is like man. I don't know how to explain it.
I sleep fine at this point,
No
so I just
sheets,
don't. I
no
just,
drawers. What is going on here?
I wear That was one time where I was wearing pajama pants. I wasn't wearing drawers.
No way, man.
Bro, that was one
I
time.
can't. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
What else?
Welcome to
what else
Canada.
weird?
Yeah, we gotta. This has been the most. What do you call it?
Random.
Episode. Random.
I'm trying to think of other
Episode.
weird intricacies that go on. I mean, this is the classic Cheerios thing, but when he eats soup or ramen, you know, like there's broth left over afterwards when like you've eaten all the noodles.
Yeah.
He takes unflavored Cheerios and dumps it in the broth.
It's like.
What?
Think about it.
Max, say it ain't so.
It's like a crouton, bro. Okay, I'll tell you where it comes from. 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 I'll explain to you where it comes from.
crouton.
It is.
What?
I'll explain to you where it comes from. So, in
He looked me dead in the eye. Is that
It-
a
so-
crouton?
they're in like some
do you
Jewish
eat croutons
in
in
Jewish
soup?
culture. There's like so my grandmother like it's very big like chicken soup with matzo balls. It's like a very traditional like Jewish like soup, right?
Okay.
And sometimes, so during Passover, which is like a holiday, where you're not allowed to eat bread, you wouldn't really have like, you'd have special matzo balls, but you wouldn't have noodles. So it wouldn't be like matzo ball noodles. So there are these things called,
You eat noodles,
like in the soup, there's like noodles and matzo
but you
balls.
can't eat bread.
It's grain, right?
You can't eat like leavened bread. So like there's special other,
like certain type of
there's
bread?
other like things that you can make to make the matzo balls. But you know what matzo ball is? It's like can't really explain it.
Yes, all right.
But the noodles, they're gross if you don't have like the special the grains you're allowed to
Yeah,
use.
right.
And so there's these like we call them like soup nuts, but they're like actually like it's kind of like it's like a kind of like a Cheerio thing, and it's like but it's not actually Cheerio. It's like these little squares. And they're like yellow, and they're like kind of like noodles, but they're kosher for Passover. Sure. And you put them as like noodle replacements. It's hard to explain, but it's like a thing in the culture. And so that's where it came from, because it's like kind of like those things.
So you started doing that here, putting Cheerios?
No.
This
Oh,
is
that's
like-
back home.
This has been a thing for a minute.
Putting Cheerios and soup, wild work, man. That's wild work.
I love how you tied it into your culture and all this
Yeah,
stuff. So
right.
now if we
That's
make
where
fun of
it's
you for it, it's kind of
That's-
anti-Semitic.
That's where it came from.
I heard about like
That's where it came from.
I see
That's
it.
where, because I'll show you what they're called after. I don't know exactly what they're called, but you put them in the soup during this holiday where you're not allowed bread.
One of these times, I'm gonna like have it ready, and I'm gonna
Okay,
make
yeah,
the
yeah.
guests try it and see how they.
And it's fine. You tried it before.
Did I?
Yeah, you've tried it before.
I don't recall.
So you did that here?
He's done it here a few
You did it
times.
here, right?
Yeah.
At the calf?
Oh, not in the calf. Not in the calf. Not in the calf.
Okay.
Only with like ramen in my room.
Okay. So
does
who
it-
saw you first do that?
He's my roommate.
What'd you say?
I think I made fun of him for it, and I brought it up viciously in front of other people.
He's like, Max is out here putting Cheerios in soup.
I brought it. It happened.
Oh, okay. Well, if we're going on, this guy one time ate a wrap with the only thing in that wrap was a whole banana.
It's kind of fun. Like, it's kind of fun.
It was a wrap. It was a banana.
Y'all trolling. Y'all
It was
trolling.
no, I'm not.
Y'all trolling.
It was a banana rolled up in a
Do I
tortilla.
get a chance
bro.
to make this like my culture so you can't say anything about it? I can defend myself, kind of.
Boy had a wrap with a banana.
Listen,
It was just
I was
banana.
eating. No. Listen, I was eating. I was cutting at this point because I had gotten way too fat. This was last year. I got up to 220 pounds. I'm 5'11", way too big. So I got fat. So I had to aggressively get that weight off of me because it was just becoming a nuisance. So I was in like 1,000 calorie deficit for a really long time. So you get really weird cravings. Like and the only thing we had is, so keep in mind, it was also like Thanksgiving break. So there's no calf. It wasn't open. And he had wraps. And I happened to have like a bunch of bananas, and I needed carbs before I went to go lift. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, this might taste good. And I housed it, and then I went and hit chest. And
Dude,
it tasted
it was a-
fantastic. By
it
the way,
was
'cause
a-
I was eating nothing but unflavored chicken.
It was a banana wrapped in a
chicken
tortilla,
breast,
dude.
unsalted, nothing, like just chicken breasts.
Oh, there
unflavored-
was chicken in there?
No, but
No,
this is
it
what
was
I
just
eating.
bananas.
This is what I was
It was
eating
just
on the
banana.
regular. Like I would be eating unflavored chicken,
Yeah.
oatmeal with no cinnamon, nothing on it, like just super bland foods. So like a banana at that point was like heaven.
I think it was
an
a
oasis.
spinach. I think it was a spinach wrap too,
It might have been a spinach wrap.
with a banana in it,
Fire.
and that's it.
Food is fuel.
And that's it.
Food is fuel.
The fact that she even thought of that is crazy.
It was kind of like a college thing that we had nothing else to eat. Like it was.
I
just,
feel that. You had to make what,
Yeah.
do what you had. Make do what you
Is
had.
that the number
Cheerios
one
and
struggle
soup.
meal? Huh? Is that the number one struggle meal? A banana wrap?
That
No,
definitely
I've
is.
seen Joe have some worse struggle meals.
Like what?
Oh, I'm trying to think, man. Joe had some. So his old roommate at Madai would drink nothing but 1 liter pop bottles. This guy's on the team, and he could like regularly windmill. Like he was very
it'd
good
be
at
like
that.
that.
He was
It'd be
super
like
athletic.
that,
He
yeah.
drank nothing but pop, 1 liter pop bottles. Like he would buy 16 at a time and put them in his room and just house them. He would have like one a day. He ate nothing but pizza rolls, cream cheesecake, and occasionally he would have chicken fingers and fries from the calf.
Mm-hmm.
That was his diet, and he was like really good and athletic gifted at basketball.
It'd be like that.
It made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, but that
I had a kid
all
at
those are better
Glasgow.
than a banana wrap.
Yeah.
I mean, taste wise, but like.
Well, none of those are struggle, bro. A banana wrap is like the
I'm
biggest
just
struggle
prefacing
meal.
who Joe is as a person before, but he said he had some struggle meals, and I can't remember what it was.
That's crazy.
I think he might have just had a butter sandwich.
Bro, a butter sandwich is better than a banana wrap.
I don't know about that one.
Did you cut it up?
No, it was whole banana.
It was like a banana blanket. Okay, we gotta go to we gotta get some advice or something for the kids listening to this, because right now they're not learning anything. They're just getting bad nutrition advice.
Banana wrap.
What are we gonna keep in and what are we gonna take out?
All of it's getting left in, except for the certain things about the certain things.
Yo.
Okay. What kind of advice would you give yourself when you were going through that period of like you had no idea how this college basketball thing was going to pan out? Like you're driving through the mountains, you don't know if this is going to go. There's so much uncertainty and doubt and all that stuff. Which, and by the way, is like kind of a theme for people in their early 20s as they're trying to figure out their life. So, what would you say to your younger self to sort of help yourself get through that period of anxiety, doubtfulness, and fear?
Like as a player?
As a player and as a person.
As a player? That's a loaded question. Really just take care of your body. I think people think take that for granted. Take care of your body. Like legit. That's like the biggest thing. Obviously like, grind, keep grinding. I feel like everybody just says that, like grind it out, put your head down, keep going. But really, like, take care of your body. Make sure your like mental health is good. Yeah, that's like the biggest thing.
Mental health. Like, how would you go about doing that? Like, what steps do you wish you would have taken to take care of your mental health?
I'm not even gonna say like meditation, something like that, but like just make like spending time for yourself, doing something that makes you happy. So obviously, like basketball makes you happy, but a part of that, video games, like whatever makes you happy. Like it could be video games, could be like spending time with your friends, like that social aspect, whatever it is. But like make sure you have that every day. But at MCLA, when I was in school, I didn't have like a bad time. I didn't have a bad experience. So I can't really say I was like depressed or anything. Like I had a good time, but I would say like I had to take care of my body. I wasn't like the biggest gym rat as in like lifting or like working on my body as in like strengthening it. Yeah. I was just like kind of the guy like just was naturally fast when I lost weight, naturally quick, so.
Did you guys lift as a team at MCLA?
Yeah. 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. So when people come late for these 8 a.m. lifts.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like we had 6 a.m. lifts at Badai, and I was late to the second one, and I got a verbal abusing. Never late again. So like I can't really empathize with people who are missing 8 a.m. lifts because that would have been a gift.
Doesn't make no sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't make no sense. But yeah, take care of your body, take care of your mental state, and just have a good time, man. I feel like time passes by. Like I remember when I was in school. Like it's a memory. It's in my head. So like this podcast, you being on the team, like
Sure.
all that experience is like it's gonna be a memory at one point in time. So
100%.
like enjoy your time. I would like kill to go back to college. So like
100%.
basically enjoy it. Like day by day. Don't skip days. Like obviously you gotta stack them, but like don't skip them. Like
100%.
I feel like the biggest thing was like, oh, I can't wait to be Friday, or you know what I mean. Like can't wait to be Saturday, the weekend. You know what I mean. Like can't wait for the practice over. And then when it's over, it's like, damn, I want to go back to it.
Yeah.
So like enjoy it when you have it, because time doesn't stop. It keeps going on.
I was actually thinking about that yesterday. It was like after practice, and I was just like chilling, and I was like, "Yo, I can't wait for like after the season to be over. Hopefully, I have a successful season, and the team does well, and I have all these achieve all these goals I'm gonna achieve." But then it's like, well, I was thinking like that's not really what I want, because I want all this to happen, but I want to have the memories and the experiences that go along with those. Otherwise, having those things are pointless. You know what I mean?
Listen, the drive is more important than the destination.
Yeah. Like, I want to have those practices where super high energy, those games that are close games where we squeak it out in the bus ride back. I was thinking about that bus ride back from Sage and Hardwick where Tay, Rari, and Quan were dancing for 3.5 hours back from literally straight through the middle of the night, just dancing after we just got back-to-back dubs that pretty much clinched our playoff spot in the Empire 8. And, like, those are the memories that, like yeah, I want to have all the success, individual and as a team, that and achieve the goals that I have set out. But that doesn't mean anything without the experiences and memories that will transcend those things.
That's the biggest thing.
You know?
I was watching a TikTok the other day about some dude, this is some really famous dude, where he was talking about how he would go on vacation every summer with his family or something, and it got to a point where he was looking out the window of this villa onto this beach or whatever, and he thought to himself, I can't wait to come back here next year. And he had the realization that he was thinking that, and he was like future casting it, and he's like, I gotta figure some stuff out, because he's just constantly like romanticizing the idea of a place that you're not really at right now, but you're also reaching for. So it's like,
It's like the movie, I'm saying movie Click.
I don't know if I've seen that.
You ever seen it? It's like basically it has this remote where you can like rewind and fast forward. Pretty much. I think it might just be fast forward. I haven't seen the movie in years. But he can like fast forward his life. So like he's working at his job. He want to fast forward till he get a promotion. But then he does that, but he's missing so much.
I have seen that. I've never seen where he pauses it and then like farts in the boss's face.
I've
seen that. I have seen that.
So like he fast forward, but he's missing like all this time. So like the fact is you're like thinking like, oh, I can't wait to be here next year. Just like 365 days, you're like kind of trying to just like skip through like till you get back there.
Sure.
And all that is like memories, bro. All that's like something. So
Stop and smell the roses.
Yeah. 100%.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I think you want to wrap it up. I think we're going for what, hour and a half.
Hour 36.
A lot of good stuff.
A lot of random
A lot
stuff.
of random stuff. Actually, before just a little more like substance stuff. What are your like goals as a coach this year, and then for the team? Just for obviously this is a stepping stone in your career. And so kind of what are you looking to make out of this year, both individually and with the group?
Really just get to learn the guys. So at Plattsburgh, I I don't know how to explain it. Like, those are my brothers. Like, every single one of the guys on the team, like, those are my guys. They call me right now. Whatever I could do, like, I'll drive up there. Whatever I have to do. Like, that's how, like, close we were. And I'm thinking, like, it's going to be the same thing for this team right here. Goals for the season, obviously, make the playoffs. Coming from 5-20 last year and wasn't that good the year before previously. So, make the playoffs, develop. I think we got a nice, strong group, nice, strong core. That's especially coming back. We got a lot of pieces that we got to put together. Shooters, people that go downhill, people who can make plays, people who play defense. So it's like that puzzle we got to put together, finding different lineups, different matchups for different teams. Obviously, like researching the conference and seeing what's what. But I think the biggest goal is like obviously make playoffs. So me and Coach Pish are like not opposite, but he's in like obviously Coach Pish want to win the championship, but he's like a little bit more realistic. Like, all right, we have a new team. You know, like obviously we'll go as far as we can. In my mind, I'm like, we go to the championship. Let's get it. Like, I think we got obviously like you, Aaron, like just name everybody. Tay, Neil,
Yeah, we go.
JC, Tay being at the 5. I think that's gonna be really helpful.
For sure.
Keyshawn, quick as hell.
Adam,
yeah. Schwartz, Adam,
Strong as shit.
strong.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys who are a lot of talented in different areas.
So it's kind of like putting everything together. And right now, I'm in the aspect of, or the mindset of, I don't know how to explain it. Like, obviously, like, I'm a competitor. I'm going to win. But I haven't seen the competition yet. I only seen it on film. I haven't, like, seen these guys in person. So, like, imagine, like, if me and Max were together and, like, you were just, I don't know, at school. Like, we played Norwich. We got Norwich. At this point in time, I only see you on film. I don't really have nothing against you. But then now when I see you and you do something for, like, on Max, now it's, like, your food. Like, you know what I mean? Now I'm like, all right, Max, let's get him, Max, get him. Like, you know what I mean? That energy comes.
Also, everyone thinks they're nice at the beginning of the year. Everyone thinks they're gonna have you. Like, it's when the adversity comes and the challenges come and how you respond to that. It's really what makes
that's
the
gonna
good
be our
teams.
biggest thing.
Yeah.
Right now in practice, I can see little challenges coming and people kind of like shut down. But hopefully, pray to God, when we get to the games, we just all kind of lock in. I think that's gonna be our biggest thing.
For sure.
We got talent. Obviously, we're not the biggest team. Neil being the biggest. 6'4".
Sam probably.
Sam about 6'4", 6'5".
Something like that, yeah.
But even Sam trying to find his way. Sam's just his third year playing basketball.
Something like that, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And 2 of those are in college.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit more than 3 years, but less than 6 probably. Like he played nothing serious in Ghana.
It's crazy. Either way, like majority of your basketball careers, you're playing college basketball.
Yeah.
I don't even think he played it crazy at Central where he was at.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's nuts, and you're like this athletic freak. So
freak athlete. Yeah.
So like to really polish him up, and like I said, I'm like
huge.
one of those gym rats. So like being in the gym, developing guys, trying to like figure things out. And then hopefully I think Sam will be a tremendous player when like
going down the road, 100%.
as a huge side note, after Sam's basketball career is done, I want him to pursue bodybuilding so unbelievably bad. Dude, his insertions are crazy. No glaze, but like, dude, if he wanted to, he could have a 315 bench in 6 months.
Yeah.
Very easily. Like just watching him move and like everything, he's got so many type 2 fast twitch muscle fibers.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that means, yeah.
They grow
I
a
would
lot
say,
faster.
right?
They grow a lot faster. Like you're pretty much you're born with like a set display of fibers, like 60% type 2, 60% type 1, whatever. And the more type 2 you have, the more muscle you can get, like the more size you can get. And he's just like loaded with them.
Shout out to him, man.
He could
shout out to
absolutely
Law.
tear it up. Maybe all in the sauce.
Maybe.
I think
it's probably dumb androgen receptive.
100%.
But I think we can wrap it up. Just what's one piece of advice you give to your younger self? Doesn't have to be basketball. Doesn't have to be college. Just one piece of advice you give to
enjoy your
younger self.
time, man. Like I said, stop smelling the roses. People trying to fast forward their life. Take it day by day. I mean, you only blessed with a certain amount of time, and pray to God it's long. That's the biggest thing.
Sure. Awesome.
Vibes.
Thank you for coming on.